Hi, welcome to the podcast for the Center for Teaching and Assessment of Learning. I'm Rose Moravchik, the Assistant Director of TAL, and I'm joined today with my colleague from Academic Technology Services, Nancy O'Loughlin. Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
We're going to talk about our recent First Friday Roundtable about making grading easier in Canvas. We were also joined by faculty member John Cox from Art and Design and also the ICE Lab. This was a hands-on interactive session. Nancy and John set up a lot of activities for our participants to do, and I'm going to ask Nancy to tell us a little bit more about some of the Canvas features our participants used. And we actually got started with a kind of cool icebreaker that John devised. It was a learn by doing exercise where participants had to find someone in the room they didn't know and take a photograph of that person, upload it to the Canvas site with a little bit of an introduction. So it was a lot of fun. I think our participants enjoyed trying to figure out how to use the app. So Nancy, can you tell us a little bit more about the Canvas app, or should I say apps, plural?
And Rose, yes, you are correct. We actually do have two apps that can be used for Canvas. One is just the basic Canvas app, which is what most students would always use. But there now is also what we call a teacher app, which actually allows teachers to go in and do some grading and some additional things that they might want to do from that point of view, which is a little bit more detailed and helps them in that regards. But students can go in, they just download the Canvas app. Canvas, of course, is its main company is Instructure, so they might see that, but it's the Canvas symbol, so it would be really easy to identify. And once they download it and have it on their device, they can click on it, go to it, check things about their course, communications, grades, different things. They can submit work and things, which hasn't always been available to them in other learning management systems that we've had. And there's also information that if they ever get confused about the app, that they can go to on the Canvas Instructure site that is specific to mobile devices.
We had the participants actually use the student app, not the teacher one,
Correct.
and see what it was like to submit these assignments. And we learned that there's some differences on different devices. So iPhone versus Android versus iPad. But it was kind of nice for our faculty to see what it's like from the student perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually, so important, I think, for a lot of our faculty. Try to either use Student View in Canvas or get that perspective of what something does look like in their site from the student's point of view.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The main reason why we all gathered, though, was to learn about how to speed up the grading process. And one of the most exciting tools, I think, personally, in Canvas is SpeedGrader, which I know you love, Nancy.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It's Nancy's favorite. So tell us a little bit about SpeedGrader, what it is and what it does, and what kinds of files you can actually grade in SpeedGrader.
Be happy to. I do love SpeedGrader. It is my favorite tool. For years, we have sensed faculty frustration in having to correct student work, give feedback, and those things where they have to oftentimes do so many clicks and download.
Yeah.
And that takes time, and it can even cause some frustration. SpeedGrader is actually a line that you can just work on. One student's graded and the next one's right there. Their submitted work is visible to them. On the right side of the screen is an area where they can provide feedback to their students. Pretty much, instantly that'll be there, and they can use different types of feedback, from more multimodal in the sense that they can still give text-based comments, but they can also do like an audio and or video type comment using the media recorder. And they can still do things like add attachments. They can even still download them all if they want to. But what's nice is there's also a built-in rubric function that is right there that they can click on if they are using rubrics in their grading. And also, one of my favorites is so often we want to give feedback on the actual student work. And depending upon the file types that are used, things like Word docs, things like PDFs, other Microsoft Office products, allow the faculty member to actually annotate right on the student work, similar to if someone was using something like track changes in Word.
Right.
So all this is available for the student immediately. And then with just a simple click, they go to the next student, that student's work appears. They have a rubric, they have the feedback, they have everything set up right there to grade. So it truly, that speed part of it really does expedite that faculty, and that grading takes time.
Good grading does take time. And as you said, there's no one correct way or prescriptive way to do the grading in Canvas. So anything you're already doing, whether it is track changes in Word, whether you're highlighting even on printed versions, you can highlight in a PDF on SpeedGrader the same way you would in hard copy. So anything you're already doing, really, I think you can still do, plus new fun things like video comments, which we get feedback from students that they really appreciate. Particularly in bigger classes, it's really personalized to have your face there saying, hey, I think you did a great job on this. Here's something I'd like for you to focus on next time. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes just the inflection of your voice is so different from just reading text.
Right.
And so, yes, we get a lot of people that do like to use the media element to grading.
So you mentioned rubrics, that there's an option to put the rubrics in SpeedGrader. How does that work?
Well, for every assignment, a rubric can be created, and once they've kind of set up their assignment with, basically how they want to grade it and things, there is just a simple plus rubric. When they click on that, they're going to see just an example of one set of criteria, but they can have as many criterias rows as they want, and likewise they can have as many columns as they want if they're going to grade with a scale. But there's also the opportunity to even grade with just providing feedback. What's nice though is once it's built out and it's saved and it's titled, they can reuse it.
Right.
So you can grade assignments, you can grade discussions, you can even grade quizzes with a rubric if you needed to, and those rubrics can be reused. So if you're doing a lot of grading of discussions throughout your course, they can just actually find the rubric the next time they want to attach it to an assignment.
And that really streamlines your process. It makes it a lot faster, but the students still get the feedback that they need. We did have a question from one of our participants about creating good rubrics and the anxiety that if you write everything down, the students are just going to do the bare minimum. We get that concern. But writing a good rubric is really a way to show students how they can stretch in order to do their best work. So thinking about filling in what that highest achievement column looks like is a nice way for students to know kind of what target they're aiming for. So it's a powerful tool, but it's only as good as the instructor designing the assignment behind it. So you have a lot of flexibility.
Yes,
with the
they
rubrics.
do. And adding comments and additional details, they can give further descriptions. And once they are created, they're so easy to grade with, though. They can just click on the appropriate criteria and the scale. But they do have the options. There are several options, and one of them is to grade with the rubric, where the score is actually put in, not only giving feedback to the student in the assignment, but also in a gradebook area, or they do not have to. They might grade slightly different, but they still want to give that wonderful feedback that can be given in a really good quality rubric to the students.
We could talk about SpeedGrader and other Canvas tools forever. I know that Nancy could. But the good news is that there are more resources for you. So, of course, we always have programming monthly over at CTAL, which you can find out more information about on our website, ctal.udel.edu. And there is a whole slate of Canvas workshops and sessions to get you up and running, some advanced techniques, some things about the app apparently, and about SpeedGrader. And you can find more information about the transition to Canvas programming at sites.udel.edu/T2C, and that is the number 2, not the word 2. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it was fun. And good luck with your SpeedGrader.